Hello everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at the Tempelhof Battlefleet for the Imperium in Dystopian Wars. Okay, so I'm going to be taking a look at the Tempelhof Battlefleet Set for the Imperium in Dystopian Wars. This set contains fleet carrier, 2 cruisers that have multiple assembly options, so 3 builds for those, some Srs Tokens, and then also a set of destroyers, which again have 2 options on them. Slipping it out of the box, you can get the build guides by scanning that QR code, or by going to dystopianwars.co.uk and just looking them up there. So here we have it. We have a set of plinth bases. Those are for our tokens. Have a bag of resin, and we have 2 plastic sprues. So looking at the sprues first, they are identical. So here we have the main body, I suppose, of the ship, 2 sides, the prow, and the stern is, where are you, stern? Very thin, there you are. So these are the standard setup for the Imperium. So if you looked at other fleet unboxings, you'll have seen those parts. However, the rest of the sprue is different. First off, you have destroyers rather than little frigates. So 2 of those. We have the batteries of guns for the broadside for the main cruiser. This is one of the cruiser weapons. And we also have a set of 4 flak guns there as well. These parts are for the destroyer, so that's the 2 batteries for the broadsides, and then also they should have 2 little bridge assemblies that sit on top. And again, these can also have an additional gun, so either one of these, or I think it can have the radar. We also have a little plane if we have the runway variant. So there's 1 molded on there. You can have an additional one. And we have 2 types of token. So there we go. Options to build. So I have to think about that. Next up, we have the resin parts for the cruiser. I think there will be some parts that also come off the plastic sprue, so we'll see when I get to the build. But the main ship itself is 1 part. Nice clean cast. Can't see any mold lines. You can see the broadsides underneath the elevated decking there for the runway. And in this case, the engine stacks have been moved to come out the sides rather than on the standard ships. They're to the rear and upright as is normal. You see the planking on the decking there. Nice build. Only 2 additional parts then, so the bridge is all 1 piece and sits down there. And then we also have a lift at the rear, which actually has options. You can have a little fighter or the larger, I think it's a bomber with the wings folded up. And that's purely just a quality of life choice for you, really, depending which one you want to go for. You could paint them both and flip them up every now and again. Size-wise, it is just under 15 centimeters long, 148 mil, and at its widest, 42 millimeters wide. And about 2 centimeters tall. It's a hunking chunk of resin. Let's go get him built and get some of his sister ships done as well. Okay, I'm back, and I have the Tempelhof carrier built. It wasn't a particularly difficult build. As you can see, it was the 2 resin pieces, and then just add the radar dish and 3 flak guns for some bit of AA. I've left that piece separate in case I want to put the bomber on instead. But a nice piece, nice casting, should paint up very easily. Now, apart from the Tempelhof, there are also the Srs Tokens. So you get 2 per sprue. They just go straight onto one of the plinth bases, just to keep an eye on what you're doing. And they're very nice in and of themselves. A bit more interesting on the tabletop than cardboard tokens. I also built up the destroyers. So here we have the 4 destroyers. They could be built as Sigma or as the Totten heavy destroyer. I chose the Totten in the end simply because its gun close range is a bit more devastating. It doesn't have a long range. However, there's already a few ships about that have no short range, like the Blucher class for the fleet. So I thought having some close quarters would make more sense. These ships are a bit longer than the Arminius frigate, so they are 55 mil long and roughly 15, 16 mil high. As you can see, they've got the arc gun on there instead, so full squadron of those. And then finally we have our modular frigates. Now, despite what I said when I was looking at the sprues, they're not quite the same. They have a different bridge layout. So I thought everything bar the weapons were the same as the other cruiser box, but it's not the case. The bridge is slightly different. Again, though, they are modular. So the Reiter flak gun here with 4 sets on them, 360 degree fire from the top of the bridge, front starboard or port from the battery up front, but it means you can potentially put 12 dice of flak fire down if you need to, which is a good way of protecting ships from flyers from other SRS tokens. You can swap that out and turn it into the Volsung, which is again some devastating close range fire with the Sturmbringer gun. I think it's 12 dice at closing, so again quite devastating. Other ship you could build is another carrier, and it just pushes the bridge to the front, and then that sets on the back. Now, to build these, that's fine. You can make 2 of these or 2 of these with the fleet box. You cannot make 2 of the Reiter because you require 3 of the flak guns for the Tempelhof. So if you get the fleet box, once you've built your carrier, it limits what you can build from the remaining. Don't think that's a major issue for the fleet I was thinking about, because I'm thinking 1 flak is enough to protect the main carrier, and then this probably will be assembled as the Volsung. So I just need to pop a remaining flak Virling on top there. But it's just a little thing. I thought, it would be nice if you could make all the variants or swap them in and out. They also use the same base plate. So unlike some of the others where you could possibly magnetize the guns that are going on, or even just set them in, if you're building the flak, then you don't have the base plate to build for that. Although it is a bit of plastic card, you could get around that if you need to. If you're not building the Conrad with the runway on it, you do get a couple of planes which should sit on that little plate again and then sit below the runway itself. However, I'm thinking you get 2 of these per sprue, mount them onto a piece of plastic card and onto another base, and that gives you 2 more tokens, which is handy because the big carrier, the Tempelhof, can actually send off multiples per turn. So just something to think about. But there you have it. That is the Tempelhof fleet box. So there you have it. Everybody needs some fighter support once in a while, and with the Tempelhof fleet, you've definitely got it. Plenty of Srs tokens in there to cause your opponents no end of misery. Let me know what you think of this addition to the Imperium, and I'm going to move on and take a look at some more ships. Till next time, folks. Bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.